Tell me your story.
I was this close to dying from a brain abscess that was misdiagnosed.
Good to know people care, though.
For a lot of people, the MRIs are clear.
You said you had a lot to tell.
Oh, yeah.
Someone said,
I thought it was normal to have like seizures by yourself all the time.
You definitely will feel guilt a lot.
I so appreciate you putting this together.
thank you.
Did we read how epilepsy changes you? Do you believe epilepsy has a fundamental impact on not just your well-being, but your entire consciousness? This is one with a lot of questions. Did that sound familiar? Then they're asking your personality, the way you talk to people, even if you recover somehow and the seizures stop, are you ever going to be the same person? Is that a good or bad thing? And does epilepsy permanently change you?
I don't think you're ever the same person.
Huh?
I said, I don't think you're ever the same person once you have epilepsy.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, Kate. Can you read that one from the beginning? Because I went through that one, but I didn't answer too much on it. I think there was only like three of us here at the time. But
Oh, okay. So yeah, so
refresh my
there's
memory.
3 questions on this one. Oh no, they edited it, adding another one. Okay. So do you believe epilepsy has a fundamental impact on not just your well-being, but your entire consciousness? I don't know how I would describe that. I mean, I'd see when you're having a seizure, obviously it affects your consciousness, but I don't think overall it's not like you never come back.
Yeah,
What do you
because
guys think it's asking about?
wasn't there a question in there like asking, do you change as a person and if you come back and all that? I thought there was more than
Yeah,
that in there.
the next questions are more relevant. It says your personality, the way you talk to people, even if you recover somehow and the seizures stop, are you ever going to be the same person?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're the same person. You have a medical
Yes.
condition and you manage it.
Yeah, I feel like you got some stuff going on after you find out or whatever, but you're still the same person. Um, but there's the but because there's if this person is a person who's having their first to 10th seizure, then you're not really experienced in it. And yeah, it can change you. It can make you change your outlook on a lot. Oh, hey,
Yeah,
Rick.
that's true. Welcome.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, did anybody
Yeah.
talk about an icebreaker today?
Uh, right on time. It was Rick had the question, remember?
That's
Yeah.
because you had the question.
Yeah, I can go to it. Let's do that. It says, oh, wait. That was weird.
Nothing weird ever happens here.
What's up, Jeff?
Oh, here it is.
I just wanted to make a comment on that last post you read, Pookie. I don't think it permanently changes you. I think it temporarily changes your personality until you get accustomed to what's going on around you. And you're always the same basic person you were. Your just reactions may change a little bit in the beginning. And hi, Rick.
Hey there.
I'll shut up again.
Yeah,
Setting
that's
up.
what
You're
I
good.
was that's what I was saying by like you don't change as a person in general because if you're somewhere someone new to it, you're probably thinking different when you're posting this. If you haven't had any more than 5 to 6 seizures somewhere around there, then it could change the way you look at it and the way you act as a person your first few seizures. But yeah, it won't change you as a person down the line. You'll still be you, unless it gets the worst of you and you go into a depression or something like that. But usually, for the most part, I think you'll be all right. The question here that we can use as an icebreaker now that Rick is here. It says, do you agree with the push for a shorter 3-month restriction if it means more individual responsibility, or do we need to restrict government safety nets because the honor system doesn't work? Does anybody remember that post that I posted that said new guidance on seizures, driving, and medical reporting?
I do.
Oh yeah, please explain to them.
So, right now guidelines vary state by state. Both in Kansas and South Carolina, no driving for 6 months after you've had a seizure. And also your doctor is required to tell the Department of Motor Vehicles. So your doctor also has to sign off that they feel that your seizures are under control. The guidelines are going to make it 3 months, and it's more of what you and your doctor feel is right versus particular mandates on certain time limits. So that's what they're doing, is lowering the threshold for time limits and also making it more of a personal case by case, and that it's not mandatory for your doctor to tell the Department of Motor Vehicles. And then the reason behind that is that people would tend to hide their symptoms because they don't want the Department of Motor Vehicles knowing. So that's why they wanted to get rid of that portion of it. It's the 1-minute version of that article.
Thank you for that
So,
excellent summary.
you're welcome.
There was another question on that last post that was talking about, does epilepsy permanently change you? But the question I was surprised to see a lot of people answered was, does epilepsy just bring uncurable PTSD? That sounds a little extreme. I've never heard of anybody getting or diagnosed PTSD because of seizures. Anybody else think that it really brings that much on?
I did read a post one day, and someone said they think they have PTSD because their significant other, and I think it was a woman, saying her husband's having seizures, and she thinks she's getting PTSD. There were a lot of comments there of people saying that they do believe that she might have PTSD, but that wasn't a medical opinion or anything. That was just someone saying that, yeah, they think she might have PTSD and trauma and all that stuff. And I think you can get PTSD from seizures. Let's say you don't know what's
What you
going
think Mom
on.
would say?
I
What you
do
think
have
Mom
it.
would say? You think Mom would agree with the PTSD being caused by seizures, or possibly?
I do
Uh,
have it.
Oh, okay. So
And
you have it as anybody else in the family, or you think it causes it for like those without seizures? Like just being
I
a
don't
witness
know.
to somebody who has PT or has epilepsy?
Well, like I'll say this, the does attention deficit disorder count? I mean, like it's because I mean, like because when I heard PTSD, I mean, like I was thinking similar to the PTSD. So I mean, like because like I think the attention deficit disorder is like pretty much the same because like that's how I feel in that situation because I was diagnosed by that.
So what's the connection between ADD and PTSD for you?
I mean, like they're both hyper attention. So, like, like that's why I figured.
So you feel like they are related to each other for you?
Yeah.
No, okay.
um,
Yeah, a lot of the answers on this one are really, really long. Somebody's saying, I haven't had TC seizures for about a decade. They make me feel disconnected, but it was also partially due to people kind of pulling back. They couldn't relate, so some just pulled away. As far as changing, the meds will impact personality and mental states. Changes to lifestyle, opportunities, relationships affect us. I'm always aware of my condition, and little mental changes are noticeable, and that's it for life. Depression is a factor for a lot of people, but that's probably pretty common when it comes to most chronic illnesses. When it comes to being a good or bad thing, it is life-altering illness that people can't see just by looking at you. I bet that's pretty standard for most mental problems. Someone can't see it, so they have a hard time relating. I doubt most of us are happy that we have epilepsy. Personally, it feels, if someone feels bad for me, it makes me feel worse. I guess there is one good thing, though. It probably sounds like a thing to do, but if work really sucks during the day, I'll say I'm having auras and just go home. Then, oh, they have no way to tell, and it's documented medical condition. I guess that's kind of a benefit. All right, so this person was able to find like one benefit of the epilepsy, but made it clear why it is easy to feel. And I don't know about like PTSD, but it definitely feels bad when people let's see. Okay, that part where they said when people can't relate, it feels makes you feel worse. I think I kind of agree with that part. Did you guys hear anything they said that made sense?
Oh my goodness, I had something. I was gonna say yeah, this, but forgot what I was gonna say. Uh, oh man,
My
Well,
brain's
Rick
just
let
kind
us
of not
know.
together today.
I can relate.
my brain is just
So,
swimming around in my head. The information is there somewhere. I just lose it when I think about saying it. Um,
Yeah, you can go. You can think about it. And try to remember. Who's got it?
I forgot what I was talking about. So, um, it says, question for epileptics: is the Christmas season dangerous for you? Is the Christmas season dangerous for you? So that question was there twice with the question mark on both of them. I don't want to offend anyone, and I'm not the slightest expert on the subject, but I know that epileptics are more sensitive to continuous and rapid changes in light. If I'm wrong, let me know. I'll have learned something new. And I wonder, after seeing my neighbors in quote beautiful decorations, imagine 30 strings of lights and a maximum of 5 square meters of garage where each string has different color and a different off rhythm. Uh, would an epileptic person feel unwell when faced with such a in quote spectacle? And in general, is the Christmas season a problem for you or not? Many thanks to anyone who responds. I learned a lot from reading post here. Christmas is not dangerous for me. And personally, I don't think I'm outside enough to look at houses to see a Christmas light to bother me. Uh,
I think this is the stigma that every epileptic has photosensitivity, and that's what it is. And it's not dangerous for every epileptic. It's just for those who have the photosensitive seizures.
But I mean, yeah, I completely agree. I mean, there are some lights that are really, really powerful. I mean, lights have gotten more powerful. I don't know, is it just me or uh, just
I think you're right.
like car lights are
Yeah, yeah,
there,
I agree with you.
there's no the power lights. They're all halogen, extremely powerful lights, and yeah, and okay, The one thing that might be photosensitive for me is they put the it's this oh my God, it's awful. It shines a light on your house. You know what I'm talking about? It's like a light bright or
Projector.
something. Yeah,
The
yeah, projector.
projectors.
Yeah, and but I love Christmas otherwise. I mean, it's my everyone's got tasteful lights, and yeah, they're great.
I like the little videos where they have the cars with all the Christmas lights on them and they're drifting around race courses. I like race courses. I mean, I like racing, fast cars, stuff like that in particular. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, glad I got epilepsy. I might have been a street racer. Yeah, it was in the cards. Epilepsy or street racing. Um, for the questions about the Christmas and the seasons in particular, or the lights being a problem, to that post, some of the comments here. One says, I've got photosensitive epilepsy. There are some twats in the road where I live who have their lights set on a cycle. So they go from solid twinking to slow fade to full on strobe with no warning. Walking to pick up the kids after school or from the nursery is not fun this season. The 6-year-old has taken it upon herself to warn me if she sees flashing on any lights. Bless her. Another comment here says the stress of having Thanksgiving dinner prepared got me this year. I'm gonna try not to let Christmas dinner get me. Already planning on stepping back a little, let others help, but I'll be damned if I'll let anyone touch touch my rib roast. I have to have genuine fun making meals. Another comment here says, I have photosensitive epilepsy and I know another person who does. It's kind of annoying how many people here keep saying how rare it is, almost dismissing the fact that we exist. And yes, strobe lights do affect us. It's what triggered my first tonic-clonic as a teenager. I have half-body seizure once when around a strongly blinking Christmas tree in a shopping mall. So yes, it could be. One more, it says, I'm epileptic and not photosensitive. Photosensitivity is much more well known since it's much more easily triggered, but it's not very common. Do anything like I was reading something earlier before you guys got here, and I think it was um, to the extent of the person was saying that they get so excited on Christmas or something like that, that they wake up on Christmas and have seizures. Um, or the anxiety from waking up on a Christmas morning getting stuff or something like that. He said that seizures come like that. Do you guys have anything like that to where you're excited for something to happen and you have a seizure?
My first seizure was after Christmas, a couple days after Christmas.
The first
Mhm.
seizure that my parents saw was on Christmas.
Wow.
It says none of my family believes I have epilepsy. I live in an uneducated, superstitious part of the country, and so it follows that my family are the same. Don't ask me how. I fell so far from the tree on this one. Regardless to the past 9 months, the only thing I've heard is um, nauseism. Is that how you say that word? Nauseam.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Nauseism.
Nauseism. Okay. For the past 5 months, the only thing I'm heard, and nauseism is you just you just don't get it. And no matter how many times you remind them, that they haven't spoken with my doctors, they aren't doctors, and that I am literally just repeating the words of actual doctors. They will never budge on the issue. There's no way to get someone who's an idiot to realize that they're an idiot. How do you get through to certain people? Um, I'll go after you guys. How do you guys get through to people that you have epilepsy and the person basically says that their family is uneducated, superstitious, and they're they don't believe he has epilepsy? Um,
Well, generally, I nothing against this person, but you don't convince someone by calling them an idiot. If you want them to be on your side, you you have to plant the seed of like an idea in their head, and you can't just keep shouting this because they're not going to listen. They're already entrenched. Yeah, they've made up their mind. So maybe I don't know what your situation is, but you have to meet them somewhere in the middle. Uh, some sort of scientific evidence of this, some sort of third party to come in, some sort of and be patient with them, especially because these people are family still, I guess. You're gonna need them on your side.
yeah, yeah, like you said, you're gonna need those family. So I'm just brush them off so fast. But go ahead, Rick.
So, not to play devil's advocate, because yes, Kev, with a normal person, that totally makes sense. However, when dealing with somebody like, I'm not going to call her out, but my mother, um, no matter what you do, there's no education. I don't know why, but you could explain something and she misunderstands and then misspeaks to people, and it just doesn't work. I've tried all sorts of things, regardless of, I decorate a Christmas tree that's a certain theme. She buys an ornament that has nothing to do with the theme. Every single year, we have a different theme. I tell her what the theme is. And then after a few years, she's over the house. She says, "Oh, what are you doing with the tree?" I'm like, "Well, this year's theme is blah, blah, blah." "Oh, you do themes? I didn't know that." It, no matter what, and that's just something minor. It goes on with every single thing. So when it comes to epilepsy, all she thinks of, I had brain surgery. Somebody on Dancing with the Stars, their wife had brain surgery because they had swelling, and she's dancing. I don't know why you still have problems. Or when I mentioned that, I joined in on an epilepsy podcast, she said, "Oh, so they all did drugs. That's why they have epilepsy." I'm like, "Well, what drugs did I do?" Just stupid things like that. There's no educating. I've tried, I printed stuff out, I've showed her videos, I tried everything. So I'm just a sarcastic asshole to her, and that gets through a little bit better than the other stuff does. So, yes, with a normal person, you want to work with them, show them love and understanding. I would say documents. I would say the Epilepsy Foundation has a lot of awesome material that people can digest. But when you're dealing with some people, you just have to hit them with, "You know what, dumbass? This is what happens. Leave me alone." I hate to say it like that, but there are certain people that are like that.
Possibly a third party then. Like I said, the Epilepsy Foundation can help. There are social workers. It doesn't sound like a very well, it sounds like a very toxic environment for this person's health.
Now, unfortunately, I see that also, because I know what that's like. So unfortunately, I see that with this person too.
Yeah, I've been told stuff about my medication, nothing specifically about my epilepsy, but I've been told that I shouldn't take the medication and stuff like that. Those medications are bad for you, and all kinds of stuff that I already know. Um, but it stops me from having seizures. Well, it doesn't even do that. It stops me from having as much, I assume. I wouldn't know how much it would, how many seizures I'd have without it, but I'm assuming I'd have way more. So do what I can to take my meds and screw other people. 'Cause, I mean, that's all I had to do about my dad. I was just like, why do you keep telling me why am I taking psych meds? And he's like, well, I'm not necessarily taking psych meds. I'm taking them for my seizures. He's like, well, I looked them up, and therefore they're an antidepressant. And then I just stopped the conversation. Just because it's an antidepressant doesn't mean it's a psych med. And what's bad with a psych? What's wrong with a psych med every now and then? You know what I mean? Yeah. But some of the comments here, one says, Lord, that must be frustrating. So they're comfortable knowing that their son has a seizure disorder, just so as long as you don't call it epilepsy. One has to wonder how a person comes to have epilepsy if, in quote, you don't just get epilepsy, right? I honestly think certain corners of society haven't gotten past the notion that epileptics are possessed by demons, or that having an epileptic somehow brings shame on the family. You should see how they feel about cancer. Another post here says, a comment says, do they think you might have a demon inside you instead? I've been asked that in the kitchen like it was nothing. When they said you don't just get epilepsy, is code for armchair experts, nurses, grad students, teachers, to basically accuse you of substance abuse, that they heard one time that someone's kid had a seizure from doing too much drugs. This has been my experience with this comment. I still smoke weed. I don't eat the trash they do. And my CBCS year after seizure are far better than theirs. Another comment here says I was diagnosed with epilepsy at 13, but since I didn't have seizures, they didn't care and said that I was lying and that epilepsy was dangerous. So for me to have it at 16, I had the first seizure, and I say in quote having, and they tell me to stop my medication because it will go away from me. That's a real idiot move. Someone says you absolutely in quote just get epilepsy. I think I was 24 when mine started. You don't just get epilepsy. You guys believe that? You just get epilepsy? I think something's going on. We don't just get it.
I had an ER doctor tell me, "Oh, everybody's entitled to one seizure, right?"
I don't really know what that means. Get epilepsy. You mean like from a like like a virus or something or
Uh,
DNA? You gotta
yeah, this person's posted on. They said you can absolutely just get epilepsy. I think I was 24 when mine started. I think that might be a person who doesn't exactly have an answer for their epilepsy yet. But I think there's always something they just haven't put their finger on it yet. But there's always a reason for epilepsy. I mean,
there's a
that's
reason for
personal. I don't.
everything. Yeah. So and I guess they're just not great with words. Maybe I think like half the cases are unexplained of epilepsy. There's no reason for them.
Another comment here says, as my grandpa used to say, you can't cure stupid. I've heard that when I was a kid. I got another question here. It says, are you less curious? I feel like my memory issues make me hold back on learning new things because I know it will likely go in one ear and out the other. I feel like I won't learn much more now without lots of effort and repetition. At the same time, I wonder if my mindset is holding me back more than my memory. And for this person, I'm in that same exact boat with the same seatbelt as you. I thought the same thing. Like, I can't learn more things because my memory is horrible. And that's something I've told myself for a while, that I just feel like learning new things is just going to be so tough for me. It's just learning things with muscle memory, like through touch, I can do that. But I think learning things like being told something and then remember it to write it on a test or something, I'm not good at learning things like that and take a lot of notes or something. But
I have to slightly disagree with you, and only slightly, because I agree with you that it's hard to remember, but I don't want to stop learning. And I probably won't remember it the next day. But the
right.
more that I can fit in there, the better it is in the long term for me. And that may be wrong for you, but from my standpoint, the fact that I won't remember it, I don't remember half my life. So what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
don't want to
took it.
remember most of your life. Most of your life is sleeping and doing nothing. So, I mean, who wants to remember that anyway, you know? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm up for learning new things. I just kind of been in a rut lately. So, yeah, yeah,
I think
always
my
up for
my wording could have been better. I think what I should have said is it's a little hard just holding down information. So like learning new things for me has been so much easier to learn things like from actually doing it. So reading and learning things I'm not so good at because I've done that and like took a test, and the time it took me to take that test, I had to keep going back and reading the information and then going back to um, read the passage and then read the answers and then read the passage to find the answer. It was so crazy for me, um, for lack of a better
it.
word, because I know crazy can be a bad word for some people these days. I didn't mean that like that. Um, but yeah, I think like muscle memory, doing things hands on helps me learn things. But to read about it and then try it and then remember to do it again and again and again, it doesn't help for me. And that's again just a personal thing. But that doesn't make me less curious because I love learning things and I love just learning new things. Um, yeah, but then having that information when a conversation comes and they want to talk about it, I'm not going to remember it like that. But I love learning new things and it'll pop in my head every now and then. And I love that I learned it.
Like the
Uh,
best I was doing was you got to sit down and really focus. I don't, if you really did put yourself, really dedicate yourself to something, you can 3 hours a day. That's what I was doing, studying something 3 hours a day. And I did accomplish something. And it was, and yeah, and 3 hours a day for a month, for 3 months. And yeah, I got certification in Net Plus, and that was really cool. But I got to do other stuff, and but I mean, but it is difficult to remember. There's a lot of information. You're right. I don't know if that's me or I got to get back on studying and you know 3 hours a day just and this
I
goes for
don't,
anything. You know hmm?
I, I don't know how you could concentrate for 3 hours a day.
Yeah,
That's a huge task in itself.
yeah, I don't know how I was doing it. I was doing a lot. Like when we started, I would literally sit in that chair for at least 4 to 5 hours before I even took a break to go to the bathroom or anything. Not that I love it less, but I had to pace myself. Um, yeah, I had to start thinking about my health because I was doing a lot. I was editing 24 hours a day. Um, yeah, I got a steady pace now, so I'm not. What's the word she used? Wearing myself thin. I think that's the word she used. Um, I don't know the exact word, but it's something like that. You're wearing yourself too thin. You're doing too much. Take a break. Stuff like that. Not that it's helped anything, but yeah, I started taking breaks and being online less. Um, yeah, but about this thing about being more curious and less curious, there's a few comments here I will read. One says, yes, I am definitely less curious. I'm also less interested in new people because I may literally not recognize them the next day on the street and it gets embarrassing. I'm in my late 60s, and between the amount of time I spend dealing with aging and consequences and the amount I spend dealing with epilepsy and its needs, some days there isn't much time. There isn't much time or me left. Got you there. Another comment here says, yes and no, but I have felt a bit intellectually stunted in the past few years. I watched, listened to a fair bit of PBS, SciShow, tasting history, and other sources. I don't feel as inclined to read about subjects of interest, but I like to listen to basic information. I have delved into my crafts and such. I recently started to learn how to crochet, which has been so much fun. I have also started playing D&D. There is so much to learn, but it is all in the name of fun. I don't know what D&D is. Uh,
Dungeons and Dragons.
oh, okay, that makes sense. Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, I don't know how I didn't know that. Am I the only one who didn't know what D&D was? Please tell me I'm not the only one.
No, you're not.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Okay. Um, Here's another comment. It says, absolutely. I think the challenge is twofold: the surgery and my meds. The surgery made it harder to retain and recall information. The medication makes it indifferent, so it's hard to be curious. I struggle to sit and read. I find myself needing to reread paragraphs and don't retain it like I used to. Not reading has been pretty impactful for me. That's what it's like for me. It's like reading, it's just hard to retain information. So then when it comes time to use it, if someone wants to use that information I just learned for a test later on that day, I might remember it when I don't need it. Maybe like tomorrow it'll come up and I feel so smart because I used something that I learned.
I
That's how,
understand that feeling, but I still love reading.
yeah, still love reading. Um, yeah, like I said, I do love learning things, but if you want to have a test and talk about it or something, I'm not going to remember. Don't be offended. You tell me something like that and I don't remember tomorrow or later on. I got something here. It says headaches. I'm going to put a disclaimer. I was raised in a family where for we cared for, of course, but we weren't really a family that went to the doctors and such for non-emergencies, and we didn't have emergencies often. Okay, with that out of the way, I'm a 28-year-old female diagnosed with epilepsy in 2023 when I was 26. It started fairly mild, but had gotten worse, and I wanted some advice. I have always gotten headaches that really take me out. I used to drink, and I used to think it was because I was smaller. I was smaller or little or just wimpy in 2019. In 2019, years before I even got diagnosed, I began experiencing horrible headaches that I never saw anyone about. But I have determined they're possibly migraines. To make it a long story, not so short, lately, when I have had these bad headaches, I have been vomiting. I wanted to know if this is any more of a problem because I have epilepsy, or am I okay as long as I don't lose conscious and such? Thanks in advance for your comments and advice. The throwing up is a problem. I'm hearing that in a lot lately about people saying that they're having seizures and then they get throw up spells after that. I've been reading that a lot in the past few months. A lot of people are, I didn't know it was as common as it is. Uh, and I think it is a problem, even if you don't lose consciousness. It still is a problem. Um, and that what's on here is, do we think it's a less of a problem? No. Yeah, I think all those are things you need to point out to your neurologist as soon as possible.
Yeah,
I think
that all sounds like stuff you got to tell your doctor. I'll, I don't know what else to say. Besides,
I'll read a couple
I
comments.
don't know. I just felt like saying something.
It's all right. Say as much as you want, whenever you want. But I do have two comments here. I will read them. One says, "Have you seen a doctor to be evaluated for migraines? It's not an uncommon comorbidity in people with epilepsy. I also get gnarly headaches after seizures." Another one says, "The neurologist who manages your epilepsy can also assess for migraine. They happen together, not uncommonly. Botox is supposed to be a great treatment for migraine, different than how they inject cosmetic Botox. Or there's a medication called topiramate or Topamax that's used to treat both epilepsy and migraines. May be able to tackle two issues with one pill."
I take Dopamax, and supposed to be lowering it because the side effect of Topamax is it really dopes you down. It really takes away your cognitive sharpness. Real bad brain fog.
That last part again, before brain fog. Um, that's what I just got. Said I had topiramate and it did blank. Um, I don't remember what you said, Kevin.
You want to hear again? Um, Sorry, I didn't hear that. Um, so pyramid side effects is one of the bad ones about pyramid is uh real bad cognitive side effects. It brain fog and memory loss and real bad it'll really just rot away your brain, basically. You can look up the side effects, but memory it really messes with your head. And if you're if you need to use your head at all in any sort of career or school, I would not it advise using taking to Max or to Pyramid. You know, it's I actually I take Pyramid and I just got my dosage lowered, so we'll see where that goes.
I got something here. Service animal. Does anyone have a service dog for seizure alerts or prevention? Does that work for seizures at night? I am worried about SUDEP for my kid. I do not have a dog for service or for epilepsy. Um, might anyone here? I don't think so now that I think about it.
Stop worrying.
Huh?
Stop worrying.
Um,
It's nothing to worry about.
A dog is not going to stop a seizure.
Right.
right.
He's not going to not die because he has a dog.
Yeah, because it did say seizure alerts or prevention. Yeah, a dog isn't going to stop or prevent a seizure. It's going to
Right.
let you know to lay down or go somewhere safe.
Right.
So, yeah, if your doctor also doesn't say you're at high risk for SUDEP, that's also not something you should think about all the time. It'll get to you. Um, yeah, SUDEP isn't something you should just worry about. Maybe ask about it and get more, what's the word, um, knowledge about it. But it's not something you got to worry about every day. One of the comments here says, "Hi, maybe a seizure alert watch of some sort would work better and be more cost effective. My dog is a darn bitch who alerts only when she feels like it, which is only 80% of the time, to be fair. I didn't purchase her as a service dog. I actually got her because I was having focal seizures and thought I was dying and didn't want to be alone." Another comment here says, "First, SUDEP is very rare. Don't be don't be overly worried about it. Worry can be very disabling in itself. Second, service animals and dogs are very expensive, and service dogs are not even appropriate for many types of epilepsy. Seizures have been Seizures have to be of the type severity, etc., that uh, that lend themselves to be sensed by the service dog. There's often 2 year waiting period, even if the family can afford one, and if their type of seizures can be sensed by a dog. It takes upwards of 2 years to train. Plus, the pup's training doesn't even begin until the pup is at least 6 months old to determine if the dog is even trainable. Do you guys ever thought about getting a dog?
I'd love a dog, but not a seizure dog, just a small dog that I could walk around with. Everybody in this development has dogs, and they're all so cute.
I want a dog, but I don't want to take care of an animal.
Well, that's the problem. And we don't think I could really walk it every day and take care of it every day.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I want one. I don't want to have to. I don't want to be the owner. I got to buy food. I got to walk them. Yeah, I love dogs. I just don't want that
Right.
responsibility. Yeah.
That's why I have a cat.
They're so independent, huh? Got something that says newly diagnosed. I had my first TC seizure last month, and it's thrown me for a loop. I'm not even sure how to feel at this point. Finally got to see my neurologist yesterday who believes I have epilepsy, but my EEG was not conclusive. And as to where it's stemming from, I feel like now I'm still in this weird limbo while I find out which kind it is, which the specialist, which may take months to a year. Started taking Keppra yesterday, and I'm just feeling so funky and dizzy and awful this morning. I guess I'm just looking for advice, encouragement. My family keeps telling me it will be okay, that it it could be worse, etc., which they are right, but all the plans I had for life are now on hold or completely slashed. Feeling defeated as I was finally getting a good path and getting my life together at almost 30, meaning a job, gym, and college. Now I feel like I'm living a weird fever dream. I just want to go back. And I just want to go back to before. Does it ever really feel normal ever again? Can I just live the normally do after a while? Yeah, you can go back to feeling normal again. Um, yeah, it's all about how you let the epilepsy do you, and it can do bad to your mental health. So just don't let it get the best of you. You can be you. You can live a normal life. I know some people with some great lives. Our lives are great. What am I talking about, you guys? Um, yeah, it could be so much worse. But don't let someone without epilepsy tell you that because sometimes they're just talking. And yeah, I think it could be way worse. But yeah, like I said, it's not for someone with epilepsy to tell you. Yeah, there's a few comments here. One says, I've had TCs for the last 45 years, I relatively, relatively rarely. I started transitioning from Dilantin to Keppra in October, and I can definitely relate to how you're feeling, but I'm confident you'll feel better in a few more weeks. The emotional part of it will take a lot longer to get over, but things will eventually normalize if the medication is effective. And you can begin to feel normal again. I led a pretty normal life, uneventful life punctuated by a TC once a decade or so. My advice is to give it time. Take your meds regularly, look into vitamin B supplements, and lead a stable lifestyle. And one of their comments says, it's never going back for me. Never be normal again. But your brain is not my brain. You guys go back to normal life? You guys
There's no
living a
such thing as normal.
well, good answer. Are
Except
you
for
guys living
driving.
are you guys living a good life? Because this person thinks they have no good life.
My whole world
I
got
am.
turned upside down last year and I'm rebuilding it, but I would say yes, I have a good life.
Yeah, the two questions in here is just does it ever really feel normal again and can you live a normal life after a while? Um yeah. Mine's is yes and yes. You can live a normal life again and after a while it will all feel normal, but it will feel foreign in the beginning. It will feel like there's no one else in the world with epilepsy, just me. I mean that's just how I
There's
felt, not you. I feel like there's no one out there, maybe it's just me.
definitely adjustment period.
Yeah. But we are out here. Yeah. If you're looking for somebody, we're here. Focal seizures when switching antidepressants. I was taking, oh, this one's a big one. Vortioxetine. I was taking vortioxetine and it was working very well. So my psychiatrist decided to put me on these medication names are wild. Um, can someone pronounce this? ESCITALOPRAM. Escitalopram?
Escitalopram. Escitalopram.
Escitalopram. I knew someone was taking it. No, I'm kidding.
Been
This
on
one
it
says,
before. Yeah.
what is it for?
I think it's an antidepressant.
I'm sorry, that's what the whole question is about. Sorry, let me go back and finish the post. Then it says focal seizures when switching antidepressants. I was taking uh, vortioxetine, and it wasn't working very well. So my psychiatrist decided to put me on um, es- escitalopram. Es- we said it earlier. When I lowered the dose of the vortioxetine, I started having deja vu. I'm upping the dose of escitalopram. Escitalopram. How'd you say it, Andrea?
Escitalopram.
Escitalopram. I'm not gonna remember it in 5 minutes. So it says I'm up in the dose of
Well, it's a drug.
escitalopram. Now I'm seeing flashing lights many times a day. They told me they were a migraine aura, but I started to think of it as epilepsy related. I don't know what to do. On top of being depressed, now I'm starting to have symptoms again. I feel I keep changing meds and nothing works very well. And every time there's a changing, something happens. I'm feeling very down right now and maybe just need someone to talk to. You guys got any advice for this person switching antidepressants?
Talk to our doctor. Tell her what's going on.
It's a better one than I had. Um, yeah, talk to your neurologist. Um, let them know how you're feeling. Let them know your thoughts and stuff you're posting here. Um, and you can always get second opinions and third opinions or however you feel about opinions. Um, yeah, focal seizures when switching antidepressants can happen. Um, so, yeah, and there's no comments on this one. So the next one here says, has anyone set something? Has anyone set something like this up? I need a better camera setup. Trying to document seizures. I infrequently have seizures in my sleep. My doctor wants some videos of my seizures, so I'm trying to set up a workstation of sorts. I currently have a crappy little security camera I got on Amazon. It has a feature to check for movements, but that doesn't work very well. I want something I can stick on a table, tripod 3 to 5 feet away from me and record. Plus has to feature to log movement so I can easily go through it to the footage so I can clip things out when needed. I'm hoping someone here has done something similar for their doctor before and can give me some tips or advice. I see a lot of security cameras, which may be the routine I take or choose to go, but this could be a full-on camcorder. Ideas on cameras and nanny cams and such things. I have this camera named Wise. It's a little bitty square box. No, it's a little bitty square box, maybe like that big, 2 by 2 inches, and it works pretty good. There's cameras all over the place. I put one in the hallway so I can look down the hallway. Like as soon as I come down the hallway, there's one looking at the whole living room. Uh, there's one looking at the porch. And there's one looking at the back door. I got cameras all over this place. Cameras where I'm not even at. And that doesn't make sense, but yeah. Camera comments, thoughts, advice, suggestions.
I have one camera that I got right before I went back to Pennsylvania and I never set up. So that's going to be something that I set up soon. And I was thinking of getting another camera for out in the living room, but I just don't know.
There are only 2 comments here. One says I have a Ring camera and I use it for my nighttime seizures as well. You will need to get the monthly subscription to save videos and be able to look back on them. Another one says take a look at the Sammy 3 setup. Works well for me.
Got the same one as you, Pookie.
What? They're great, huh?
Yeah, I bought them because I asked all of you guys what kind you had, and I went and looked at all of them, and I like those the best. So that's the ones I bought.
Oh, nice. Um,
Bedroom, living room, kitchen, and I've got one looking out the front window to the porch. I need to get it
um,
hung up outside, but it got cold.
yeah. I sat one on the porch because I was lazy and didn't want to hang it up. So there's one at the foot of the front door. Um, I got something
What
else here.
brand is that?
It's a Wise camera, and it's Wise is WYZ.
Yep. Yeah, I know another company. Thank you.
Yeah, and they're pretty good. But I do have another post here. It says, "Is it all inflammation? I'm wondering if my epilepsy is from inflammation in my brain. If I'm not taking Quilipta, my brain feels like it swells up and will explode. I did run out for a while and been back have been back on it for about 5 days, and I'm noticing improvements with Excedrin and ibuprofen, but having my seizure episodes again. I have a long history of brain injuries from abuse until I was about 20. My seizures stopped without treatment. I was fine for 7 to 8 years until I had a grand mal seizure last summer. I was also in a bad car accident in 2023 with a concussion I never recovered from. My head literally broke the side airbag. Now I have now I have migraines. I had to quit my job and be on medical leave for months. I'm struggling to function. I have trouble even now remembering how to pronunciate letters that scare me. I don't think pronunciate was the word. I think pronounce. Okay, it says I'm struggling to function. I have trouble even remembering how to pronounce letters, which scares me. I was researching autoimmune epilepsy. No information came up on my brain scan, but my head feels like a pressure cooker. Any thoughts or advice will be very helpful. Um, that's interesting because I was thinking that, like, if I was to like get hit in the head in the morning, would that be a cause for a seizure? Because I bumped my head the other day and I had a seizure later on, but I never thought of it like that. You think like we can get hit in the head and just like have a seizure later on, just like I got hit in the head this morning or something? Be like, tell the doctor that. You never thought of it like that? Maybe it's just me.
No, I could see that. I
Okay.
mean, I'm nervous about, if I'm falling and I hit this area where I had a brain abscess and surgeries and stuff, is that going to trigger something? I mean, a fall in general, but I definitely, if I'm falling, I try to turn so I don't hit that area. So I definitely want to look out for that.
My problem is hitting. Oh, maybe a problem no one else has because I hit lights walking down the hallway. I'm like turning out of the bathroom into the hallway. There's lights on the wall hanging, and around every corner there's a light hanging. Um, my little sister said those aren't short people problems. Um, yeah, I've been the biggest person I known for a long time, so I get these hidden stuff with my head, especially lights, is my thing, and I don't know if that could be a thing to cause a seizure, and that might be my next post or comment for a doctor. I mean, note to tell a doctor. Um, yeah. There is one comment here on the inflammation thing. It says meningitis, inflammation of the meningitis surrounding the brain and spinal cord is a possibility. A blood panel and potentially a spinal tap can check for this. Fun fact, your brain itself actually has no brain sensory receptors. That's why people get strange auras during seizures. Your brain can't warn you with pain, so it sends whatever it can to tell you something is wrong. The pain you feel with migraines actually comes from your blood vessels in your brain pockets of increased pressure, which cause migraines, visual auras, and other annoying migraine symptoms. Intense feelings of pressure in your brain and your head are more likely than not a blood pressure issue, salt, hydration issue. Uh, although, if you want autoimmune, blood panels exist and are relatively easy to order through your doctor.
Please take your medication as prescribed or whatever works for you. We're not doctors.